but he's not a vertical dimension. You've got Kamara, a really dangerous weapon in the pass game. Beyond that, there's no one else in their pass game that a defense worries about as an individual. So that helps a defense in defending them. And the second point is their run game this year has never reached the level that it did a year ago with Ingram and Kamara.
That's right.
Kamara has only one run all season of 20 yards.
That's a really interesting number. So, we talk about this all the time. You see Le'Veon Bell as a home run back, but Le'Veon Bell wasn't as big a back as James Connors over 20 yards. The perception is, this run game for the Saints, Kamara, it's not a big play run game this year.
Not this year. No. So keep in mind that over the last 3 games, Breeze has only thrown for 200 yards once. They only have 6 pass plays of 20 or more yards in the last 3 games. So the offense has become a little bit condensed. And when that happens, it's a burden to have to go 12, 13, 14 plays to score. Now, are they capable of doing that? Yes, they are. But it's harder to do in the NFL.
All right, Baker Mayfield gets his offensive coordinator and his coach fired. They bring in Freddie Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, and clearly over the last month, now they haven't played in many instances the best defenses, Cincinnati and Atlanta, but Baker's playing with a ton of confidence. He threw the deep ball especially well this weekend. What are they doing schematically, or Freddie Kitchens, that has given him a real bump in confidence? I mean, he really looks like he feels good about the way he's playing right now.
Well, they put him in a situation where he can play to what his strength is. He's a quick twitch kid. So you get him in a situation where he can hit that back foot, get the ball out, play fast, and they're doing that really, really well. But I think the trait that shows up every week, and this plays anywhere, Colin, you play quarterback, is precise ball placement. His accuracy is big time. And you saw that in college. He was a very accurate thrower. That's a defining feature of his play. And he beat tight coverage this past week several times with really good throws. And at the end of the day, if you're a really accurate passer, you're going to be able to play in this league. I remember Troy Aikman telling me years ago that you could do everything right as a quarterback, Colin, but if you can't put the ball where you want to, you have nothing.
Yeah, I said before the draft, and I said it over and over, Joy, you were here listening, I said, he is too accurate not to work in this league. I don't like his off-field nonsense, some of his ego. I wish he was a little bigger and a little more athletic. But his accuracy in college jumped off the chart. Like people compared him to Johnny Manziel, significantly better arm and better placement than Johnny Manziel. I didn't think they were even think you're right now. I want to talk a little bit about a team that's played Baker twice, the Steelers. I think they're in trouble here. Now, I don't like all their noise, but right now, Greg, they have no running game. We're going into the coldest part of the year. The Saints' running game may not be as good as we perceive. Pittsburgh's got no running game right now. I mean, to me, they can't beat New England this weekend like that.
No, there's many elements to that game. We don't have time to get into all of it, but to respond to your point, they've lost 3 in a row. They've been 75% pass and 25% run. You can't play like that. And their pass game is very much individual-based. It relies on the quality of the quarterback and the receivers, and then it revolves around the quarterback making second reaction plays, leaving the pocket, being improvisational. Very difficult to build a pass game around that, so there's no rhythm to their offense at all. It becomes an individual play offense, and sometimes you can make those plays and sometimes you can't.
By the way, in that Raider game, just as an aside, do the Raiders look well coached? Because I do think Gruden knows a lot about offensive football. Is there anything you've watched on the Raiders in that game maybe and said, the Raiders kind of know what they're doing sometimes?
I thought this particular week, first of all, I thought Derek Carr played his best game of the year, but I thought that Gruden helped him tremendously with the game plan approach and the play calling. Okay. There was a ton of quick game concepts, defined throws. Carr was really precise. Carr's always struggled with his lower body mechanics, and when he's in the pocket too long, that really shows up. You want him to be in a situation where he can hit the back foot and deliver the football.
Yeah, because he's a good thrower of the football when the play sets up for him.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, every quarterback should be, but he is definitely one of those guys.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, 7 turnovers against the Patriots, Rams combined. If you add Baltimore, it's 8 in his 3 biggest games of the year. People fell in love with the no-look pass, but I think he's become exactly what we thought he would be, wildly talented, fun, crazy, with a great play designer in Andy Reid, but I do worry about his sloppiness. Do you?
A little bit. I mean, keep in mind that obviously he made that fourth down throw last week, and that was a phenomenal throw, but they had 17 points up to that point. I'm anxious to see as he continues to go forward. You hit it right on the head. I really can't add to that as far as the talent level, but I think that was a concern. I remember speaking to a lot of coaches at the Combine the year he came out, and there were many who were concerned about the way in which he played. They all recognized the talent, but there was a concern about whether he would fit into a structured offense play after play, week after week. Obviously, the numbers this year are phenomenal, inarguable, but we'll see over time.
And finally, your big play. This warms my heart.
I did it just for you, Colin.
He is a kid, the best since John Elway. He's the best quarterback prospect I'd seen come out of college. Injuries aside and coach aside, but it's Andrew Luck. Fire away.
Yeah, he's pretty good, by the way, and he's having a really good season. Let's start this play. This was a 60-yard completion to T.Y. Hilton. But there's some really cool elements to this play, and it starts with the personnel they had on the field. They had 6 offensive linemen on the field. Joe Haig's the 6th, and Haig and Ewert are both going to stay in to pass protect. So what you have now is what we call twins to the other side of the field, and T.Y. Hilton is the receiver to watch. But the defense here, the Texans, they're in cover 4 across coverage. What this does with your alignment is it gets T.Y. Hilton running a deep vertical route against a safety, just what you want. But now what happens here as he runs this vertical route against a safety is Tyrann Mathieu, the other safety, because no one's threatening him in quarters, he looks back inside as he should. But Hilton runs a great route. He stems outside, and as soon as he does that, Mathieu figures, I'm done. He's not going inside, so I'll look back inside at Luck. But now what happens is Hilton comes back inside on the deep post, and it's complete. It's a great throw, too. But you can really see it from this angle with T.Y. Hilton, how he stems the route outside, the details and nuance of route running. This is critical. Look at him right here, stem outside. That takes Mathieu off him and now gets your speed receiver running vertically against a safety, which every team would want.
And by
Hilton
the way,
is one of the best.
And all those extra offensive linemen gives you the appearance that they're going to power run it to the right.
Correct.
They fake it, hold the linebackers, and it's actually, for Luck, a very easy throw.
Yep, you get 7-man pass protection, which, again, secures him in the pocket because you're taking a deep shot, because you want to make sure he has time in the pocket and he's not under duress.
Great stuff, Greg. Thanks. Nice talking to you.
Thanks, Colin.
Greg Jennings also will join us today. That just warmed my heart right there. That may have been the greatest play on film ever in the history of the show.
Man, you love you some Andrew Luck.
Neckbeard, flip phone, book club, kind of a nerd. It's like I watch myself play. He's a big, gigantic nerd.
Except for you can't grow a beard.
I can't grow anything. Lord. Warren Moon said something I think is pretty interesting, and I think he's right, and I think he would know about Tom Brady and the worst coaching idea in the history of football. No, I'm serious. The worst coaching idea in the history of football being suggested. That's coming up. Sleep can be a struggle. You might toss and turn all night because you're uncomfortable, or you can wake up overheating. It'd be nice if you went to bed and knew coming out of it and going into it, it's going to be a nice, cool night of sleep. I had a great night's sleep last night. 7.5 hours on a Casper mattress. The folks at Casper looked at what keeps